Hey everybody, today I wanted to go over a requested video by a new fan. Shout out to Suryan. I'm going to go over how to loop over tuples as well as dictionaries and how to use the zip function. So it's very easy. So if we create some kind of tuple here, and I'll just say how to loop through tuples, and I'll just use the for loop for that. Let's say that I have a tuple of names, okay? So a tuple looks a lot like a list. The only difference is that we have, instead of square brackets, as we would use for a list, we have these parens, okay? So I can put some names into here. Okay, and you can see it looks a lot like a list. And in fact, when we use the for loop, it does the exact same thing as a list. So we can just say for each name, we can call this whatever you'd like. And if you want to look more at the for loop and how to do it with the basics, you can check out my video up in this corner at the top of the screen, and you can check that out. So for name in names, so it will go through each index every time it loops over, and it will assign these names to name, okay? So for name in names, I just want you to simply print the name. So this should loop through this tuple and print each index. So let's run my file. Okay, so Python test.py. Okay, and you can see down here we have SalteeKiller, Bob, and Billy. Okay, so that's how you do it in a tuple. And just so that we can take a look. So let's turn this into a list and let's see if there's a difference. Nope. So prints out the same. So we can use that as a list or a tuple. When it comes to the for loop, it works the same way. Okay. Awesome. So now let's go over how to loop through a dictionary. So it is pretty different between dictionaries and tuples and lists. So let's say that we have a dictionary. Let's just say that this is some kind of contact, okay? So he's got some different items here, like his phone number. Maybe we'll have like his address. And I'll just do one more, an email or something, okay? And now I'll put in some random information. Okay, make sure you have your commas. Okay, and then I'll have the email. Cool. So let's just print this, make sure that I wrote my dictionary correctly. Okay, so it looks good. All right, so now if I want to loop through this, so if we look back over here for our tuple slash list, we just do for name in names, and we assigned each of these indexes to the variable called name. Okay, so we want to do the same thing, but if you look at a dictionary, you notice that there's actually two values per item. Okay, so there's one comma, but there's two items in it. Okay, so these are key value pairs because the first one here before the colon is your key, and this is a value, value. Okay, key value pair. So what we need to do is actually name both of these, otherwise it's not going to work. So if we do something like for, I'll just say key. You can say whatever you want. So key and value in bob.items. Okay, so we're using the items method. I want you to print. I'll just do the key first. So let's see what happens there. Run my file. Okay, so you can see that it just printed all of my keys. Okay, so when this goes through the loop, I need to say .items, otherwise it's gonna not find both of these. Okay, so when we say items, it's telling the loop that, hey, this is a dictionary. There's actually two values we need to assign. Okay, so for example, if I took my items out, you can see what happens. Okay, so it says too many values to unpack. That's saying that there's two values here where normally there's just one. But if I tell it, hey, it's actually a key value pair, and you say the items, so it grabs both of these and then it can assign it just fine. Okay, cool. So that is how you loop through a dictionary. Okay, and then the third thing that this new fan wanted me to go over was how to use the zip function when it comes to tuples. Okay, so the zip function, a lot of it's used for, I say something more like machine learning, but I'll just create a list here. So if I have players, and I'll just do some random names inside of a list. And then I'll just do one more. Okay, so let's say I have one list and then I have another list. So the zip function will actually combine two lists together. So that's why I need two things. Okay, so let's say that they got a certain amount of points for something. So in this case, maybe they got 89 and 98, 28 and 78. I don't know. Okay, and so I'm going to have the same amount of numbers as I am names, and I'm doing that because I'm going to join these together. So I want Bob and 89 to be one tuple, and same with Sally, Bill, and Angela. I'm zipping this info together so that they're kind of own items together. Okay, so all I have to do is tell it whatever I want to combine. So I'll put this inside of a variable. So I'll say their scores. Okay, and I'll use the zip function, and that's taking two variables there. So I'll say players as well as points. Okay, so let me clear my console, and I also need to print the score. So print score, and this shouldn't work quite yet. Okay, so it says points. So I need to do that. Make sure I spell it right. Okay, and it says zip object. Okay, and it's because I need to actually cast this into either a list or a tuple. So in this case, I want to do it in a tuple. Okay, so I'll just take this and say, let's put this into a tuple, and now I can print it. Awesome. So the zip function is already going to put each item into a tuple like this. Okay, so you can see that per comma here, each name has a score. So I just combined that data together, and now they are bound inside of a tuple, which is really cool. And everything here is surrounded by a tuple. So that's a single tuple. Now I can also do this for a list. So I can cast it to a list, and you can see it will do the same thing. So these are exactly the same, except everything is now inside of a list, but everything inside is still a tuple. Okay, and then of course you can still use the for loop just the same. If you take this, you can loop through it just the same as I talked about before. So yes, that is how we use the for loop for tuples, lists, and dictionaries, and that is how we use the zip function. Okay, so if you do like these videos, please go ahead and drop a like and subscribe so that you will get notified whenever I come out with a new video and tutorial. And I do take requests for these tutorials, so go ahead and drop a requests in the comments, and I can't honor every single request, but I will try to best as I can. Okay, so hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and happy coding.